Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the X1S by SofaBaton has arrived at Genius Home Theater to be run through its paces. So that's what we're gonna do with this video. I've had the remote for a couple weeks now, and I just want to let you know how I use it, how you may be able to use it, who the remote is for, maybe who it's not for, and some other cool things that can be done with the SofaBaton. And I bet you by the end of this video, at least one thing you haven't seen in a SofaBaton video, and we're gonna take care of it here at Genius Home Theater. So what we're gonna do is take a look at the setup. We're gonna go through the setup really quick. I believe the setup is intuitive enough that most people can get through that setup and get their devices in the remote and make them available for use. Download the SofaBaton app, follow the prompts to create an account, connect your remote to your Wi-Fi network, and pair your remote to the X1S hub. I have some devices already loaded onto my SofaBaton remote, but I'm going to show you really simply how we add the devices to the remote and to the database to be used in our activities that we're going to set up, or our macros, as some people like to call them. Let's call them. So first up, the devices, we're going to hit the plus in the upper right hand corner. We're going to hit plus, and it's going to ask us which type of device do we have or that we want to add. Pick whatever you want to pick first, and pick the simplest things first. And again, go through all your devices and add every last device that you have that has a remote control. So we're going to look for infrared devices. Bluetooth devices can be added to this remote. Also Wi-Fi devices such as lights and things like that. And also RF remote control items like blinds. Sometimes you have those blinds that can be controlled by RF remote, so those things as well. So we're going to pick what type of device we're going to use, and we're going to start with our processor in this case, and we're going to pick infrared because that works off of infrared. And so we're going to search for the model using this right here. We're going to hit tap button. We're going to wait to be able to search our model. Our model for our processor that we're using here is a Marantz, so we're going to go and try to find Marantz down here on the list. Let's see, popular brands under Marantz. Now, I do not see Marantz on this list, unfortunately.
Tomorrow.
Oh, here we go. Passed it. All right, clicking on Marantz. And we're going to be, there's a recommended at the top. We don't have any one of those, so we're going to keep on going down the list. We see AB8805. And here we are. We don't have the 8805A. We're going to click 8805. And just like this, it's telling us what the trigger and the power buttons are and which buttons are already controllable once we add this device. You're going to check this list and make sure you have all the functionality that you need in this list and make it ready to use. So once we've seen this and once we have this right here, we're going to hit next at the upper right corner. We're going to choose an icon for this particular device, and the stereo speakers is fine with us, and we're going to hit complete. Now it's going to ask us, where do we want to save this? Now we have multiple hubs in the home. We're going to have to choose which one, but we only have one hub in the home, so we're going to choose the one we have, our X1S hub. And just like that, we've added one device. Let's add another device. Let's add our DirecTV box to our devices list. All right, we're going to click the plus in the upper right hand corner. We're going to click infrared again, and we're going to do a model search. All right, so immediately we see that DirecTV is in the list or on the list. So we're going to click DirecTV. And now from now, we're going to take and we're going to scroll down. We're going to find our model number for the DirecTV box. And then in this case, it is an HR24200 model. And we're going to select that right there. And again, all the functionality that we need for DirecTV is already supplied to us. So we're going to click next. All right. The icon is fine. So we're going to click complete. Excuse me. We're going to add all our devices that we have. We're going to add our TV. We're going to add our sound bar. We're going to add our video player. We're going to add a computer if we have to. We, in this case, are going to add our Hue light bulbs that are in our ceiling right here, and behind our screen, we're going to add everything that we can possibly think of that has a remote and is remote controllable. So an activity is going to be when you hit one button and then it controls or turns on and off all the devices that you need to do whatever you're trying to do. In some cases, it could be watch TV. In mine, to watch TV, we need to turn on the direct TV. We need to turn on the sound bar as well. Pretty simple. Direct TV, sound bar, TV. So now it would do that with one press of a button. Very easy. Let's take a look at building an activity at the basic level. Now we're on our activities page right here, and you can see we have some activities already done here. Now, as you can see, the activities we can see in full scale right here. I'll put a picture up on the screen of the actual remote where you're losing in some of these activities, you're losing some of the characters because the words are too long, and you're gonna see part of the letter of some of the words, and then they're gonna just fly away. You won't see what the full name of that activity are, but I encourage you to continue with whatever you want to name that activity, because on the app you can see them just great. So here we're gonna hit the plus to create a new activity, and it gives us some ideas for activity that we may want to add. Watch direct TV, watch the PD, which I have as a PD, watch the project on the screen. These are ones that I've created already, and it actually intuitively gives you ideas for new ones based on the devices that you have already listed as usable in your remote control already. So all of these suggested ones are already ready for you. So what we want to do though is go all the way to the left and click customize. That way we don't use ones they have. So once we hit customize, we're going to do on a basic level, we're just going to add watch TV. So what we want to do is just like our watch direct TV activity, we're going to add what we need to be able to watch TV every day just by hitting one button. So we're going to select soundbar, which we need. We're going to hit direct TV, which we need. And we're going to hit our Sony TV, which we need. Those are only three things we need to be able to watch TV. So we're going to click next. All right. So the next thing comes up. What it's asking us to do is select the input source for the activity. Now the sound bar, we're not making any changes to that. So we're going to leave it as is always set, which is HDMI in my case. So we don't have to change that every time that sound bar comes on. It comes on and goes off at the same input. So that's where it's going to stay. So I didn't take time to change any inputs for the sound bar. So when we turn it on, it's going to be on the correct input. So for direct TV, there's no input. Oh, as well, the Sony TV, same thing. The Sony TV always uses the same input for everything that goes into the Sony TV. Now, if you're a gamer and you're using your TV for different inputs, then of course you would tell the app at this point which one you want it to be tuned to be able to watch TV and watch TV only. So in our case, we're not changing anything. So we're going to hit next. All right. So it's asking us the power state of these devices when we hit the activity button that we want to do. So in each case, we're going to assume that all of these devices are always off to do our activity. The sound bar is normally going to be off if we want to start an activity. The direct TV is going to be off if we want to start an activity, and the Sony TV is going to be off. So these are the beginning states before we want anything to happen, before we press that button. This is the actual power state of these devices. So we're saying everything is off. I just walked into the house. So everything is going to be off. So here we hit next. And it's going to tell us by device which buttons on the remote, on our SofaBaton remote, are going to be used for which device. So now we're going to say which remote we want to run the volume. So we already have it pre-selected right here. Of course, the sound bar is going to be the device that increases and decreases the volume. So we want to have those volume keys on the SofaBaton remote set aside for the LG soundbar. So we're going to hit next. All right. The buttons, the rest of the buttons, maybe the majority of all the buttons that we're going to use on the SofaBaton remote for our direct TV are going to be all the buttons that are left. The arrow directional keys, the OK button or the center button, the back button, and the red, green, yellow, and blue buttons, channel up and down buttons. All of those are going to be slated for the DirecTV. Now, we're going to hit next. All right, now we have an opportunity to name this right here. So because we have one that says watch TV or watch DirecTV, we're just going to change this one just for this right here. We said we're going to change DirecTV 2, okay? And then we're going to set an icon. We're going to hit this icon button, and we have a few icons. SofaBaton would like some more icons for that. All right, but we're going to hit back here. All right, so then we're going to hit complete. And it's going to save it to your app, and it's also going to download it into your SofaBaton X1S remote. So as we're doing this, the remote is actually updating right now. It's sensed that we've changed something in our app, and it's making the phone catch up with this actual app. So it's syncing now. Now you can see we have Watch DirecTV, and we also have Watch DirecTV 2, which we've just created on our app. So let's take a look at what that particular activity looks like in action. Watch DirecTV. Okay, now we've seen the DirecTV come on and the soundbar come on, TV came on just by one press of a button. That's simple and basic, and I believe if all you're gonna do is watch TV, it's gonna be great. It's actually gonna be a little bit easier if you don't have DirecTV. If you just have a smart TV and you just wanna watch the apps on the smart TV, this is actually pretty good remote for you to have. DirecTV makes it a little bit more complicated because of the numbers that you have to do. You have to tune in numbers, and SofaBaton remote, using the remote itself, is kind of quirky using the buttons because you have to use the click wheel to get to those numbers. The app is the way to go as far as controlling DirecTV, so that's very easy as well. All right, so let's create another activity which we would call mid-level. You know, just add a little bit more functionality into it, have a little bit more moving parts. And if you're an intermediate person, if you're not a beginner, this is pretty simple for you as well. All right, so let's click activity again. And this time, of course, they're gonna give us some suggestions and we wanna customize. So that's gonna blank out our screen right here. And let's add DirecTV, and we also gonna turn on our stereo and pull down our screen. So we want to watch DirecTV using the projector screen. So we have a little bit more working parts there. We don't have the TV, but we need the screen to come down. We need the projector to turn on. We need our AVR or processor to turn on as well. So let's add all those features or add all those devices in for this activity. So here we go. DirecTV we need our Marantz processor. We need our Epson projector. We need our projector screen. And that's pretty much it for this intermediate level that we're gonna try right here. All right, so now we're gonna hit next. So here we go. DirecTV, we know that doesn't change. On the Marantz, for our DirecTV watching, we're gonna hit select. And so now, we're gonna look down this list right here for our DirecTV. Now we have an actual input on our Marantz AVR that says DirecTV. And so we have our DirecTV plugged in, or our satellite or cable input right here. We named it DirecTV, so we can come into the remote and we can see which one's which. So we know our Marantz needs to be set to DirecTV if we're gonna watch DirecTV using our projector. Epson doesn't change. It only has one input. It has two, but we're using one input, HDMI 1, all the time, so we don't need to change that state. The projector screen doesn't have a state. It's just up and down, so we can press next. All right, so again, all of these devices should be off if we're gonna start our activity, and we're gonna hit next. The Marantz is gonna control the volume here. We're gonna hit next. DirecTV again is gonna control most of the functionality in the remote. Next, we're gonna name this right here, and we're gonna call this TV with Pro for projector. All right, we have an icon there, and we're gonna hit complete. All right, so seemingly enough, we've added this activity just like we did on the basic. You say, oh, so what's the difference between that and the basic? Well, I'm gonna tell you what's a little bit different between this and the basic functionality. Now, between this and the basic functionality is that when I turn or hit one button, things don't turn on at the right rate. The screen takes a long time to turn or come down. If I turn on the Marantz and I hit the input that I want, which is DirecTV, if I hit it too fast, then it won't see it because the actual Marantz processor takes a few seconds to go through its power on. So if I hit one button and say turn my Marantz on and then turn it to this particular input, it doesn't see that command because it's still in the startup process. So what do we need to do to slow the progression down of these buttons being pressed? So what we have to do is we have to add a delay in between this functionality and then turning this on and then turning to this particular input. So we need to add some space in between, and we can use our X1S to do that, add space in between this. And again, it's going to be one button push functionality, but in our setup, we're going to actually add the delay so that when we hit that one button, it's all going to come on at the right time, and the actual AVR and other things will see that button press when it's time. So let's go into this. What we have right here is the activities, and what we're going to hit in the far right corner is edit. All right, so now you're going to have an edit button on the far right. So we just created TV with Pro at the very bottom. So we're going to hit that edit box right there on the right. We're going to hit that. And what we're going to see right here is something that says startup settings, about halfway in the screen. We're going to hit startup settings. All right. So what it's going to do is bring up our startup settings. It's going to tell us everything that's off. All right, in the beginning. So then it's going to tell us all the things that are going to turn on. All right, no need to switch our sources. So now what we need to do is, because like we were talking about, we need to add some slowdown in the middle. So what we're going to do is tap this button that says add delay on the right. All right, so here's our delay time. We're going to hit it right here. And right here, we have a list of times we can add from 1/2 second all the way to 100 seconds. You do the math, how many minutes that is. Okay, that's more than 1 minute, less than 2 minutes. So you can actually space out a functionality of button press. When you hit it one time, you can do one function and wait up to 1.5 minutes for the remote to hit the next function. So in this case, we only need about 10 seconds in between the startup of the AVR and actually pressing our input for DirecTV. So we're gonna have to give that AVR good 10 seconds to start up before it can see its next command, which is going to be changed to our DirecTV input. So let's go right here to 10 seconds. All right, we got 10 seconds. We're gonna press done. All right, we're gonna hit confirm. Now, it's added our 10-second delay here at the bottom of the list, but we have to tell it where in the list this actual 10-second delay is supposed to go. So we're gonna take and press and hold the 6 little dots, actually the 8 little dots on the left-hand side where it says 10-second delay. We're gonna press and hold that. So that's gonna allow us to move it up this list. See that? Now we're able to drop our 10-second delay in where we need it. So these are things you're gonna have to kind of see what works and what doesn't. Put these activities in as you think they should work regularly. And if it doesn't, then you'll start to do things like add delays in between different functionalities. So that is not a basic feature, but is an intermediate feature, and is one that's used on other remotes as well. here's how we would use the X1S in an advanced operation. I believe it's an advanced operation. So here's what I did to create an activity that I have on my phone called Advanced Movie. So I do have an activity that where I can watch my ZPD player and use my projector at the same time with the AVR and everything else. So let's add a little bit of spice to it. So this time let's add our lights. Let's add our hue lights to this functionality. So what we want to do here is create another activity. We're gonna hit plus here and we're gonna look at we're gonna switch to custom here. So nothing is given to us already. So we're gonna check off everything that we need in this right here. So we're gonna use the PD player, we're gonna use the Marantz, we're gonna use the Epson, we're gonna use the projector screen, of course, and we're gonna hit Hue Bridge right here. All right, so then we're gonna hit next. All right, so ZPD is gonna be, nothing's gonna change on anything, but on the Marantz, we need to change it to our ZPD input. All right, nothing's changed on the Hue Bridge, we're gonna hit next. All right, everything is still off. Actually, the ZPD, the Marantz, the Epson is going to be off. The projector screen is going to be off. In this case, we're going to click on for our hue lights. That's our normal condition. Next. All right, we're going to use Marantz for volume. And ZPD is going to control all these other functions on here. And we're going to name it. And we'll put Advanced 2, and we'll hit complete. At the top of this, we have right here, assign commands to remote keys. All right, so we look at this list right here. The actual remote right now is set up to function the ZPD. So as you can see, this is a list of all the things in blue that tell you what particular key is already assigned. And you'll see some things in red, and in red it says long press not configured. So as you can see, we can use a long press for a functionality, and we can have a short press for a functionality as well. So this is very cool. And so that's not the thing that I want to show you. All right, so if I hit something like this right here that says a short press and a long press, we're talking about the back button, or not the back button, but the rewind button here. We hit that. All right, so now we're gonna say short press or long press. We're gonna hit short press on this device. All right, so what it says next is astonishing. It says normal key or macro key. Look what happens. Look what happens when I press macro key. So again, where are we at this point? We have our functionality set for our activity. Our activity is actually on. There are actual functions set already to the remote for the functionality of the ZPD and it's running on the remote, which are most things except for like the volume. So if we go in, we can actually change the functionality of the X1S remote to whatever we want, including what we're gonna press right now, which is macro. We can create a macro by hitting a long press or a short press on any button after our activity has started. So what we've done here in our theater right here, we have created an activity to where we can actually play our ZPD, and I hit the pause button and the play button, and we'll show you that the actual lights come up when I hit it once, and then when I hit it again, it goes down. So everybody can use that. That's an advanced level. That's an advanced functionality of the X1S that you needed to see, and here's a look at it. what I want to advise everyone is that if you have an odd remote or odd component that maybe kind of old, so you want to check first to see if it's in the database. If it is not in the database, one downside is because of the database limitations, you will need your remote. You will need your original remote on a lot of devices. I think I would say out of 6 or 7 devices, I probably needed to have about 3 of them. So the reason you're going to need that is because some of the functions are not available in the database. Even though the component is in the database, all the buttons are not. So it is very, very easy to actually add a button to your remote or a function to the app for your particular device. Your SofaBaton X1S has a learn function, which means that you can actually take the remote and actually point it at your hub and actually learn your original remote. You would take and learn that particular remote control through the actual X1X hub. So again, if your TV was not in the database, you would take your original TV remote, point it at the top of your X1S hub, and it will tell you exactly what to do. Press this button. Yes, I see that. Yes, I've recorded that code for this function that you want. You go through and you can add any function that you want. And again, this is a downside to somebody or someone who doesn't really want to tinker with the remote a lot, but it is gold for someone who does not mind that. And again, this remote is set for, at this point, for someone who has a little bit of know-how in the remote space and the remote programming space, home remote programming space, not an expensive system. But if you have tried and used a programmable remote, you will be able to do this. You will be able to take and add functionality to all your devices. It just takes a little bit of time. So I do want to say that. The next thing that I want to mention is a downside, a little bit of a downer for me, is that there is no Alexa connectivity. I am sure that the people over at SofaBaton are working on voice connectivity for this remote, because I think it's the next step in the evolution of the X1S or the SofaBaton remote. It has to be the next evolution because a lot of things are going to voice recognition to be able to function up. Now, I have an Alexa right in this room, so it would be very, very useful to me, SofaBaton, if you had Alexa connectivity with this app. But it's not all lost. There's still some great things you can do with this remote. You don't have to have Alexa connectivity, but I'm gonna tell you, for automation, it makes it so much sweeter. So they are probably working on that cherry to put on top. So let's hope they're doing that. Who this remote is for, it's not going to be an issue setting this remote up because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's very easy to get in and set up and add your devices to this remote. Now, is it for the beginner? Yes, it's for the beginner. It's for the beginner. Everything is intuitive. There are guides and there are tips and there's a lot of information in the actual app to take you through, as well as how-to videos. There are how-to videos inside of the app to actually walk you through the process and so forth. So there's a lot of information that SofaBaton has given us to be able to get in and get our devices. So what we're really interested here at Genius Home Theater is how it stacks up. Now, how it stacks up against, there's some other remotes, and there's one popular one that we all have tried and a lot of us still have. And we say, is this the next best thing to, the Harmony Elite remote? So somebody has to fill those shoes. And you know what? For the tweaker and the people who have the Harmony Elite remote, if you can run that, you are gonna love this remote. All right, there it is. So one of the coolest things I've seen a universal remote do ever. And that was something I actually wanted to do with the Harmony remote that you cannot do. You cannot make those lights come up and go down at the press of a button and play and pause at the same time. Like, anybody would. I mean, it was always something in the back of your head. And I've told a couple people, I'm gonna make this work. So here's your video. All right, we can do another video on the step-by-step on how to actually create that macro inside of a macro to get those lights and with the play and the pause thing. We can do a separate video if you want to do that. Let me know in the comments. Again, are you now starting to see where the X1S functionality traits are? It's in that extra functionality. It's in the advanced and the intermediate realm as far as universal remotes go. Yes, you can use it. Anyone can use it on a basic level. Yes, you can. But this video is how do I use it? Can I use it in my theater space? You bet you can. You bet you can, and you're gonna want one to be able to do what we did here, because again, you can't do it with the Harmony remote hub. So I would encourage you to do that. If you would want to use this, and this is something you want to use, please, 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 if you go to SofaBaton and you want to get this remote, use the actual discount code Genius Home Theater. Yes, sir. Genius Home Theater gets you a discount. There's a discount code. Genius Home Theater gets you 15% off an X1S remote by SofaBaton. So thank you, the good folks at SofaBaton, for granting us that discount. So again, is this remote for you? What do you want to talk about, man? I know we have a lot of new subscribers. Get in the comments and let me know where you're from. I mean, what do you want to do? We can do a whole series on what this remote can do. There's so much more that we can't really fit in this video. We can get a little bit more granular on the steps and the button presses on how to get some of these actual macros done and set up. So if that's something you want to see, let me know about that in the comments. Again, I know this is a little bit of an overview of everything. It wasn't super detailed, but again, if you want the basic functionality of how to use the SofaBaton, is all over YouTube. But what we're going to do here at the Genius Home Theater is we're going to get a little bit deeper. So that's what we've done right here, and we'll continue to do so. So I would love you to stick around. I would love for you to share the videos. I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. This is what we do here. So again, share, like, comment, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.